Hello, people of Earth. It's the homie Pedro. Usually I don't do two videos in a day, but just gonna do a reaction thing to a review of this documentary called "The Alabama Solution." It's about prison conditions in Alabama and basically across the U.S. And they point out this very important part of it is that a lot of people profit off of, now not a lot of people, very few amount of people profit off these private prisons. Anybody who's ever been to jail would know, like Aramark or Bob Barker soap, those things, like certain commissary companies that always have to outbid stuff. So like a little ramen noodle, probably with inflation now, probably cost, I don't know, close to $3 just for one package. Um, Now they're moving a lot of visits to where it's phone visits. I first encountered that in Davis County Jail. Um, you can't do contact like visits or even behind glass. It has to be on a phone. If your family member comes, they have to wait. There was only one, probably still is only one desk thing where you can sit down and talk and wait your turn to speak on a computer. So most people just stay at home. And at the time, they were charging $12 for, I believe, 30 minutes to talk to a loved one. Closest thing you do face to face. A lot of connection issues. It wasn't in private for the inmates. For the inmates, I think now they probably have tablets, um, but it's just inhumane. Now you have this other issue in Utah where they had a prison. It was the Draper prison, but now they want to expand Draper to be a nicer town. So they knocked down the Draper prison, which didn't really have any problems, and they put a prison by the airport, Salt Lake City Airport. And the problem with that is it's on sinking ground. So they're gonna have to build a new prison within, I don't know, 20 years, I think. And here's the thing is I wrote the governor, Spencer Cox. I I wrote whoever the dude for Draper was, email. These people, these politicians, they don't care. Um and I was like, all right, two parts to this. One part is the homeless solution. So there's a solution in the homelessness is you can close these private prisons, stop locking people up over dumb stuff, stop putting them in slave work because also in the state of Utah, a lot of people with roofing jobs or a lot of the prisoners, they'll do a roofing job, but they'll only get paid like $2 to $4 an hour. In California, they just barely, I heard they just barely made it to where the inmates are getting paid more than like $5 to $10 a day to put out wildfires, which is crazy. Um, and they'll work them harder than the actual firefighters. It's part of the reason I just don't like dealing with California and Cal Fire. Um, and if these people get one infraction, then their contract's done, and then they'll have to go and work for a different contractor, like the one that I work for. Um, Not from Cali, but I've seen people do that. They've transferred and worked for places in like Idaho and Washington. Usually try to stay close to home, so they'll stay on the West Coast, so like Oregon, Washington. Um, but anyways, so the homeless, how you fix the homeless issue? Just stop building new prisons and use the old prison as a homeless thing. You could already section off. you could already section off the violent people and the mentally unstable people from actual families that are homeless, so people don't freeze to death. You will have enough beds because they're already there. You can have a controlled environment. You can have a rehab center for recovering addicts, which would probably be the biggest wing in the prison. You already have a cafeteria, and if people need to go to work, you can bus them out. You already have a bus. Why waste taxpayer money when you can use something that's already there? Nope, they want to knock it down because it's unsightly. That's what I proposed to the governor. That's what I proposed to the dude Draper, but they don't listen because green's all that matters. Look at your whatever state you're in. If you're watching this video, wouldn't they be able to solve the homelessness issue if they just put homeless people in prison? Not like in a prison, but like as a shelter instead of building a new one and having a controlled environment, busing people to work, having counselors there, not having people wandering the streets dying at fentanyl overdoses. I don't know. I'm just so sick of a bunch of politicians just making money hand over fist and just while everyone else dies. Or my bad is unalived by crooked politicians. But yeah, that's my rant. Oh, and not only that, the new prison that they have out here, I heard is way more dangerous for the guards and for the inmates because the old prison used to actually be more controlled. This one's in a dorm environment. So imagine sleeping around someone you don't even know if they're mentally ill, or they might mistake you for somebody that they saw on the street, or you might be rival gang members in the same environment, not even locked away from each other. At least you could have had with the old prison that they already knocked down in Draper, you could have had people that worked in the prison explain to people, or like have new security come in there, and the guards been like, look, okay, so this is the procedure with this is the procedure with that. Have them do a training course, 90-day training course. Boom, you got everything settled. But nah, they want that slave money. That's how all these houses are being built so quick, because they're paying people $2 to $5 a day to do slave labor. It's crazy. That's why I don't even. And then you go on the local news, the KSL stuff. I don't know who the dude Pioneer 47 is, but this guy always says the most crazy, racist, like anybody who's unalived by police. This guy is like, oh yeah, he deserved it, and they never like. It's so weird. That's why I don't even really watch the local news, man. If I want to get lied to, I'll watch the local news. But yeah, I don't know. Anyways, you haven't watched the documentary. It's called The Alabama Solution. It is heartbreaking, eye opening, and man, this stuff has happened all over America, man. All over America. Like how we landed the free when we lock people up over the dumbest things. All right, here's the homie Pedro. One love. Peace out. Stay safe.